Hello, hello. I am Cody and I'm a donor engagement officer at Alight. Today we're going to be interviewing Osop, who is the project manager of Somalia and Somaliland. Osop, want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Osop Abdi. I am a protection manager for the Alight Horn of Africa, Somalia Somaliland.
Yay! Can you tell us how many years have you been at Alight?
It's been a year and a half now. So I don't consider myself as a new staff, but I've been following Alight and its work for several years, and I've been fortunate enough to join. So
yay! This is only my third week, so I'm super excited to learn more about what you do.
Oh, then welcome to this wonderful family.
Thank you so much. We're going to start off. We'd love to learn a little bit about you outside of work. So who are you when you're not a project manager?
I am a lot of things. But outside of work, I am still Osop. I am an introvert. Sometimes I'm not. I'm a people's person. I like being in a crowd. I love background noise. I love being around people. I love all the different nuances that makes people. I love just hanging around, and I'm a bit like my mother. I'm a nurturer, so I'm always feeding people. I have snacks with me all the time. I love tea time. I am a Somali Kenyan, so that both that parts of me love tea. So I will offer everybody tea whenever I see them. But at the same time, I am introvert, so I don't go out much. I like staying indoors. I like listening to music, a lot of it. I love reading fiction. A lot of it. I just chill and relax.
I love that.
Yes.
And for people who can't smell Osop, she smells amazing. And before we started the live stream, she said one of her love languages is sharing. And so she put her perfume all over me, and I have never smelled better.
Thank you.
Before moving on to the next question, I want to know, what are you reading right now?
I am rereading The Alchemist.
Oh my gosh, such good books.
Yes.
So good.
I read that a long time ago, and one of the staffs in Mogadishu was actually reading the book, and I talked about how I loved that story, and I read that book at a time when I was trying to figure out who I am in the space that is my world, what I want to be, how I want to be seen and identify as. And I think for me, books come at very important times for me. And they always reflect on something I am searching for. So that book really holds a special place in my heart. Even though I don't remember a lot of the storyline, I do remember it helped me figure out what I want to do, at least where I want to steer myself into finding who I am.
That's amazing. I feel like that's actually a great segue into our next question. So I am brand new. Can you tell me something you're working on right now that you love, that brings you a lot of joy?
There are a lot of things I'm working on. So with the Alight program in Somalia, it's an integrated approach. So we have the health and nutrition component, we have water and sanitation component, we have the protection component, which I'm part of that team, wonderful team. We do have an education component and also livelihood, what you will call the economic recovery. So it's an integrated approach. So what we do is it's all linked to each other. And I think that's the part that really gets me excited. To be able to work with an incredible team in Somalia, Somaliland, and be able to actually have fruition for people who have been facing some of the most trying times, and making sure that they are attended to, that they are respected when accessing services, that the services are relevant to their needs, and that it is comprehensive to what they need, and that what we provide is not just flash and colorful, but it's actually impactful and changes their lives. So I wouldn't single out one activity, but I'll say that whole environment of approaching it collectively and making sure that it is of the highest standard, that really, really gets me excited.
That's amazing. So you talked a little bit about how we collaborate at Alight with our customers and how we co-create, and that's one of the things that gives you energy.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me how we collaborate with customers to learn more about what they actually need?
For Alight, what we do is we don't design the project before talking to the customer. And for those joining us, for us, we call our beneficiaries and the communities that we work with and work for as customers. We are giving the power back to them. The choice is theirs. So what we do is we sit down with them and they tell us about themselves. They tell us their experiences, what they need, what they are lacking, and how we should go about supporting them to make their lives better. So all we are, in simple terms, is we are conduits, making sure that what they need gets to them in the design that they need it, respecting their choice, respecting their power, their view. So it is very important for us that whatever we do is what the customer told us is what they need and what they want. So we just try to bridge that gap between the customer and what they need.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I know that you've been working on a lot of incredible projects.
Yes.
Is there one in particular that really stands out as like so impactful that you were able to co-create with customers and really see the way that it met their needs?
There is so many to talk about. I cannot single it out. So I will mention just two.
Yeah, give us your top two favorites.
The top two favorites, because protection programming is very dear to me, hence why I'm part of that department. But I don't want to only talk about protection, because Alight Horn of Africa is multiple sectors working together collectively and cohesively. Some small things that have the biggest impact. With the health project, we run primary health care, and sometimes the primary health care is actually the only care available to the communities that we work in. And one of the biggest gaps we saw within the maternity was when women come to deliver, and we've been doing a lot of sensitization for the many years Alight has been in Somalia. So women will come in not prepared, haven't gone to any clinics during the pregnancy. They will deliver, and unfortunately she will have to go back to her home with the clothes she came in, all dirty, having all that fluids on her. So the customers kept telling us what they need. And when we talk about customer co-creation, it's not something that the customer tells you today and we are able to provide tomorrow. It's something we work towards making sure they have access to. So we were able to design, part of the health project, a package for delivered mothers, new-term mothers, so that a semblance of welcoming her into the motherhood, of recognizing the transition and that very important time in her, and giving her back some dignity. So right now what we do is we offer that newborn and kit for both mother and child. So regardless of their background, whenever a woman delivers in any of our health centers, she's given a kit that includes some basic personal hygiene kits for both mother and child, and she's able to go back home with her new outfit and everything. And it really, really changes the outlook, because Somalia is a community of togetherness. So even with all these conflicts, the drought, all these issues with the country, the community is very together and joined. So if a woman goes into labor, there's always that stream of people coming to see her, to see the baby. There's always that small group of family members escorting her back to her home. And it shows a lot of respect that we recognize that role that that woman plays in her family, and we want her to live with dignity. So that's one package we did of co-creation. Another is linked to protection. Now, in my department, every initiative we do with a survivor-centered approach. So the community tells us what they need. The customer tells us what we need. Even something as simple as a gathering. We meet in the community at a designated location identified by the customer. We will the talking points are steered by them. Some of these sessions are even hosted and emceed by the community themselves. So all of the initiatives in protection, whether it's under gender-based violence, whether it's under child protection, whether it's social behavioral change, where we try to go to the root of people's attitudes and behavior towards some common practices, and looking at seeing if that is harmful and what it implies. All of it is from the customer's perspective, all of our initiatives. So yeah, I could talk a lot about protection. It's very dear to me.
That's amazing. I think some of the themes I'm seeing is dignity,
Yes.
community, togetherness.
Yes, yes.
And I love that you're able to offer mothers a gift into motherhood.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an incredible way to start the journey. So I'm curious, because I'm hearing a lot about your work, but I have no idea how you actually implement it. So what does a day in the life of Osop look like? So you wake up, are you a coffee drinker?
No. Tea.
Tea, okay.
My beverage of choice is tea. I will go as far as to say I'm addicted. So the day usually I start, I'm an early bird.
Wow, can't relate.
Very early, so after morning prayers, I try to keep in good with the good Lord, with Allah. Everything starts with Allah. So I pray and I will start work immediately. I like to get a jump start on the day before everybody shows up at 8:30, and then really the noise level changes in the office. So I try to do a lot of the paperwork, get it out of the way, and it depends. In Somalia, Alight has been in Somalia since 2010, and we are the leaders. We one of the leaders for the community, and Alight actually leads the gender-based violence subcluster. So there's a lot of coordinations we do with other partners, national, international, and local. So I try to make it as collaboratively as possible for the community. It's not, there are a lot of initiatives, moving parts, And unless we come together and it's a smooth working space, then the focus will fall onto one area and others will be overlooked. So mornings with the team and I, depending on the location, because we are situated in multiple districts across Somalia Somaliland, and depending on where I am placed at that particular time, but the rhythm is the same. We will converge to the office, look at our work plan, the field staff who are going for gender-based violence mitigations. There'll be the team that is going for the child protection mitigations. There's the team that is doing coordinations with the state. Then there's the internal mechanisms of the office. So each one will be given their assignment, and then we scatter. For protection, our main aim is to work with the community. So we spend 80% of our time with the community out. The other 20 is probably 10% is the logistics for us to be out there with the community. The other 10 is the documentation and the coordination with the state. So a lot of meetings, field work. I try to go to the field 3 times a week.
Wow.
Most of my work is direct implementation with the team, with the field teams, but I try to be as connected to the community as possible. And like I said, Alight is a wonderful place to work in. Very supportive. So we have the senior management that is very supportive of our initiatives, and that gives me a lot, and the fluidity to go to the field and come back and do the paperwork.
Yeah, that's incredible. I completely agree. You need good leadership who listens to the people like you who actually do the work. And so it's great that you feel like we have that.
We do.
We're gonna check and see some of your incredible questions and ask Osop what you're curious about. A question from Joyce. What's the question?
What type of music do you like?
Ooh, that's a really good one. What type of music do you like?
Oh my. I love music. I used to listen to classic music, and I fell in love with rock music. There used to be a show that used to stream on local TV back in the days. I will not say which year it was, but it was called Power Hits USA. And it was an afternoon, school was closed. I remember it so well. And Mr. Bruce Springsteen came on, Dancing in the Dark. And my love for rock and roll started then. In our culture, there's no concerts, there's no albums, so it's either whatever is on mainstream TV, and thank God for technology because it's wonderful, and now you can go as back as you want with music, but for me, it's rock and roll.
Ooh, I love that. Bruce Springsteen classic.
Absolutely.
I also have to say, you would make an incredible DJ. You have the DJ voice. You have the sense of humor. I don't know, what do you think, guys? Should she be a DJ?
I did at one point want to be a DJ radio, and I was gonna introduce rock and roll at its purest form to my community, but humanitarian work called me. So music, I love music.
In another life, you're a famous DJ for sure. I think we have time for one more question, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So Kai, our amazing helper.
Can you share a story of a specific customer that really touched your heart?
So for the audience, they asked, can you share a story of a specific customer that really touched your heart?
Wow, there's so many. Wow. there was one of the initiatives we have in protection is what we call a dignity kit. And this was years in the making for humanitarian, especially in protection mainstreaming. And this kit is specific to vulnerable women and girls, and also it promotes reporting of rape incidents and sexual violence and intimate partner violence under the 72 hours because of the response. Now, this is something that there are a lot of people on the ground who use dignity kits to reach out to the community for messaging and awareness. But at the very core of it, it's a protection initiative. And there was a lot of the term dignity kit going around in the community with different content inside. Some were relevant, some were not. There was this young woman who, I am sorry to say, was facing some really hard times. And she received a dignity kit, but it wasn't appropriate. So we've been spearing as part of the lead for the GBV cluster. We speared the streamlining of what a dignity kit is. So we started with a guidance note on what it is, how it should be used, and what the minimum contents should be. Any other fund and partner that had more funding to add to the kit can, but there's a cut off of the minimum that is required and the maximum. Anything past that, then it becomes an NFI kit, a non-food item kit, and it's used for material support. So we were able to streamline that, and it really helped. And 6 months down the line, because it was adopted nationally across Somalia.
Wow, that's amazing.
And 6 months down the line, a neighbor unfortunately went through the same problem she did. And because we really worked with her, and this dignity kit was designed by the customers. We just had the technology to type it out. Because it was so collaborative with them. We sat down with them. They told us they had issues with it. They identified the issues. So we got the partners together. We asked them what they needed in that kit, what it means. They told us. We designed it. We went back to them. They looked at it and they were like, okay, this is good. This is not good for this context. And we worked around it, and the final product, we presented it, and it was adopted nationally. And because of that interaction with her, she was able to help this young girl that was facing what she did with less information at that time. So she's like, I have the information. I know where you need to go. I know what you need. And she was able to help this girl, and it made the recovery a lot better for that neighbor of hers than it was for her. And when she came back to me and said the interaction amongst us helped her help somebody, because she knew what this girl was going through, and to see how proud she was that she could help and that she knew what to do, it was the look on her. I cannot describe it.
That's
I
incredible.
really cannot, but it stays in my mind sometimes. But I've been doing this for so long, the stories are many. People are resilient.
People are resilient.
People are resilient.
It sounds like you were really able to empower people. And that must have been so healing for her as well, to be able to help someone who's going through the same thing she did.
I really hope so.
I know I said that was the last question, but you all have some really good ones. And there's one that I think would be really important and that I'm interested to hear about. What kinds of strategic shifts or new initiatives do you think would make the most impact?
Wow.
Yeah, big questions.
Very big questions. Well, strategies initiatives shift. And in Alight, we have a broad strategy to work with the communities, to listen to the communities, to receive the ideas and how to go about it from the community. And we design our projects around that. So what we do is every year, we sit down and we look at what the community has told us, because it changes. Just last year, early last year, we were dealing with a 3-year-long drought in Somalia. And then towards the end of the year, we were dealing with the worst El Nino flooding in 20 years. And this year, we are dealing with recovery from that, redeveloping from the damage. There's a lot of displacement from that. So it's 3 years of drought, then several months of flooding. So designing an initiative and saying this is it, this is what we are going to do, I think that goes against what customer co-creation is. Customer co-creation is about working with the customer what they need. We change daily. What I need today will not be what I might need in a few days or next month. Or I walk out of this building, something changes in my life and my whole perspective changes. And I think that strategy, overall strategy that we have of customer co-creation really reflects that life is evolving, and so are what we need and what we want and what's available. So sitting down with the people that we are saying that in essence we work for, and redesigning, rechanging. Because we have a livelihood project last year that we worked with women who we supported them in creating this charcoal making factory. And we also worked with others who were selling, who were loading and unloading using donkey carts. And this year, different approach, different market.
Wow.
Different outlook, because people changed.
Right.
People moved. Somalia is a nomadic community, but it's also a very interesting community because we are facing emergency response, but there's also development, resilience programming. So we are doing both in Somalia, and that should be reflective of the initiatives, which it is for us in Alight.
That's incredible. That's a great balance. I think the one thread that's been most consistent has been the co-creation.
Absolutely.
We are going to wrap up. I feel like I could talk to you all day. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. This is both of our very first live streams. And so thank you so much for your questions and your support. And I'm sure we'll talk to you all soon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shukran.